umpire holds the ball aloft. And away we go. Round 2 action. The Peter Jackson VFL, Essendon and North Ballarat. Here's Jamar in the ruck going up against Marshall. No one can break clear. The umpire will throw the ball up. As you mentioned, wonderful conditions for footy tonight. The drive up was sensational as Jamar gets the tap down, but Roosters looking to go forward. First time inside their 50, and again it's been blocked back by Ferry, who works it into the middle of the ground. They've got some nice overlap here. Jamar getting involved as well, and they work the ball out to that outer side. Dempsey going over the top, and they work it to Redmond. Played really well last week. We'll talk more about him in a moment, Crooksy. But they're inside 50 here. The Bombers, Coughlin, the skipper this season, he brought down the tackle. The ball near the line will have it thrown in.
Yeah, Mason Redmond certainly made an impression to the Bombers out at Windy Hill last week. Lovely long goal from the old Showers Pavilion end. The ball to be thrown in, half forward flank. McKernan taps it down forward. North Ballarat through Nick Rippon, the Liston medalist. He kicks to centre wing. Good intercept by the Bombers. They send it back from whence it came. They're looking for a mark. Front of the pack. Grimley gets it through. Crowley trying to run onto it. He gets crunched. Attracting a bit of a crowd there. Ball going nowhere. And the umpire will come in and ball this up. Back where we started. Half forward flank. Right inside of Essendon. Right in front of the Essendon VFL radio scoreboard. Taken out of the ruck. Kick forward. Snap. Through for a behind. First score on that Essendon VFL radio scoreboard. The Bombers are one behind. North Ballarat yet to score.
About a minute into this opening quarter. The QEO tonight. As we wait for the ball to come out, and Matt Austin takes the mark, the skipper of the North Ballarat side. He goes across the ground just outside 50, but in trouble. Keel trying to pick up the footy, can't do so, and there's a turnover. Dempsey, 360, managed to get the handball away. Now the kick going inside 50. A dangerous ball coming out to meet at McKernan. He couldn't pick it up on the half volley, and the Roosters able to take it a long way outside 50. A good mark coming in.
Jamar.
It is Jamar. Done some good stuff early, Mark Jamar. And he'll put the Bombers back inside 50. A lot of pushing going on. McKernan in the front position. Can't bring it to ground. Ball off hands. Opportunity again here for
tackle.
The Roosters. They can't get clear. And now the Bombers with another opportunity inside 50 and a good kick and a good mark. And lining up will be Sam Grimley.
That was good work by Yeston Eads, Pete, who front and square scooped that ball up in one go and fed it out by hand. And the ball has ended up in the hands of Sam Grimley.
The former North Ballarat Rebel, Yeston Eads.
Yes.
And actually did play one game as the 23rd player for the Roosters. Or at least one game. So Sam Grimley, a lot of time on Hawthorn's list and consequently Box Hill in the Peter Jackson VFL. From kicking from just on the 50.
Well, I like it.
He's got the distance, but it's just drifting across the face. Another behind the Bombers. They're two behinds. North Ballarat yet to score. We've gone 3.5 minutes in this opening quarter.
North Ballarat to bring the ball back in. This is Austin. Goes short to the pocket. Good frontal pressure by the Dons. They're a little unsure which way to go. Told to play on is Bosley. He kicks to half back. Crowley in there with the ball. Gang tackled. Rolled over the boundary line. The umpire comes in and says, I'll toss this up. He'd be a metre in from the boundary. Jamar keeps it in. Bit of volleyball. Good work by the skipper. Good work by the skipper in Daniel Coughlin, but it beats all comers and over the boundary line to be thrown in again.
You reckon Crowley would be used to getting the attention. As soon as he picks up the ball, two Roosters players on him.
Jamar, front position, doing well in the ruck early. Crowley, they work the ball clear. That's a good intercept by the Roosters. They kick forward. Defence there. This is Ferry. Ferry switches play. 1 on 4 and the one wins. Austin, he's getting a lot of work down here, Pete. He's doing well.
He had a lot of the work last week as well against the Roosters. He'd go backwards, trying to find a player in space. This is Rod into the side this week for his first outing. Across to Lockie George, one of the key playmakers today for the Roosters. His kick along the ground, looking for Josh Webster. Misses him. It goes over the boundary line. We'll have it thrown in half forward for Essendon. Two behinds playing no score. 5 minutes gone in this opening quarter on Essendon VFL Radio.
I think Ego would be happy with this so far. There's a lot of pressure being applied here. Jamar trying to tap it into the fast lane. Coughlin at the back. This is Hams. He handballs backwards. They work it backwards to come forwards. Simpkin. They get it across. They switch play. They're on here, the Dons, if they can get onto it. Dempsey on the right boot. Got a man clear.
That's polish.
Comes forward. Oh, loose handball. It's going to be swamped by the Roosters. They work it backwards. That was Redmond that just didn't quite get on the end of it. McKernan, solid bump, picks a footy up. Evades one, snaps. Oh, just taken. Mark paid.
Yep.
Mark paid. Last line of defence.
So it'll be to Rod for the Roosters. 6 minutes gone in this opening term. Two behinds, plays no score. Bombers leading. Rod goes deep outside the 50, and a good mark taken at the back by Johnston. He was a good player last week against Coburg. That defensive 50 now wants to get the ball moving quickly. His kick up to centre wing, though, has been intercepted again, and the Bombers definitely on tonight. Ferry, he's racked up a couple of possession kicks into the middle of the ground, finds Dempsey right in the middle of the QEO. He's just held up, thinking about going across the ground, and instead decides to go just up the line. The kick not the greatest. It goes through a couple of sets of hands. Ball eventually be fed out here. Polkinghorn's the option, but instead Redmond decides to kick deep inside the 50. It's a 2-on-2, and the fist finally comes in from Cleary, and the ball is through for another behind. Three behinds, plays no score. 7 minutes gone. Opening term, Essendon, VFL Radio and Bendigo tonight.
North Ballarat, bring it in. Bosley, centre half back. Kicks to the grandstand side of the ground. Oh, nice mark there. Taken by the 23rd man, James Al-Musali. It goes up, man in front, doesn't take it. Front and square, a little bit of volleyball work there. Comes back to Redmond. He fakes, still evades. Funny old handball. Eventually, North Ballarat intercept. It's just a scrubbing kick. Garth Newen through his hands. Now they try to work it forward. Redmond can't apply the tackle. They're under a heap of pressure here. Crunch, tackle, and over the boundary line. Out of bounds, centre wing, QE oval. And
it's a free kick.
Oh, free kick he gave.
So Yule, I think, ran right over the boundary line. They were under pressure, but it'll be a free kick going the way of the Bombers. Right on centre wing. And it's play on, says the umpire. So that's what Simpkin does. He kicks right into the middle of the ground. And again, they work this beautifully. It's Grimer who goes inside the 50, and it's a lovely kick again. And I think it's Crowley who's got it. It is. Strong mark. He's been a player who's been absolutely everything in this 8.5 minutes we've played so far. And a chance to put the first on the board for the Bombers.
Well, the game's been played in one half of the ground.
It is.
Really, the ball hasn't got far past the centre line.
And there's no breeze.
No.
There's not a breath of wind out there. It's just the pressure of the Bombers early. Just inside the 50, Crowley sets sail for home, puts it straight through.
That's his first. That's the Bombers' first. Essendon VFL Radio scoreboard sees Essendon 1 goal, 3-9. North Ballarat yet to score. And we just tick past 9 minutes. Well, while the Bombers are dominating, they need to get a bit of reward on the scoreboard as well.
Well, he was omitted from the AFL side this week, Ryan Crowley. He'd be desperate to get back into that senior team.
He's a mean-looking hombre, Pete, I'll tell you. He's got the black wristbands on. Looks like one of those cowboys coming in, riding into town. As they bounce the ball back in the middle of QEO. Garth Newen gets the backhander. Kicked out by Hooper of North Ballarat to centre half back. Bombers lead by McNeese. His handball's intercepted. Rod gets it across. They're on half forward. Long kick towards goal. And it is through for a behind. North Ballarat's first score. Essendon VFL Radio 139 to the Roosters 1 point.
Yeah, the kick into the pocket looking for Schneering. Couldn't find him. So it'll be Dempsey kicking out for the Bombers. Well, he decided to go the short option. He kicks to himself. I guess that's the ultimate short option, really. And goes deep outside the 52 deep in the end. Sitting underneath it was Sean Edwards. But it's out of bounds on the full. Free kick. Cassidy to take it for the Roosters. At half forward, it's a flat-looking kick inside the 50. Pack of players around the ball. Good clearance work again from the Bombers. Am's looking to get the handball out. Didn't quite hit the target. He's just there trying to mop up. He's ridden into the ground. Players diving in on top. Big chance here for the Roosters to pick up a shot at goal. But there's Crowley. He did really well to extract it. Got it to Dempsey. Handball back. Hams. They're still inside defensive 50 here, the Bombers. And Grimer just goes long outside the 50. Getting up high was Grimley just to force the contest. But he tapped it to ground and tapped it straight back to the Roosters. And they go back inside 50 again. But again, it's going to be another turnover. We're going turnover for turnover at the moment, Crooksy. And it's Ferry who clears to the outer side.
Bombers on the tear. They take a bounce. Kick long to half forward. Looking for Redmond. Redmond marks it. He's between wing and half forward. Now he goes deep over the back. McKernan marks this in the goal square on the run. Very Pagan's paddock that, as he was 2-on-1 there. Always going to get a goal out of this one, the Bombers. And Sean McKernan, who fortunately has come back from injury, got injured a couple of weeks ago in the last practice match against the Tigers at Punt Road. And he has come back. He's going to line up from 10 metres out, directly in front. And he made the umpire work. But it's two fingers. It's a goal. That's the second one of the Dons. Essendon VFL radio scoreboard, 2-3-15. North Ballarat 1 behind 1 point. 12 minutes into the first quarter here in Bendigo.
Yeah, just the two inside 50s for North Ballarat in this quarter. And they've just got the one behind out of it. No real system going forward. But Bombers, excellent movement in the footy. The mark was taken at around 50 and the players pushed up the ground. There are a few who stayed back and McKernan was one of those and just really nicely done over the top.
Redmond impressive early doors.
Absolutely. Ball back in the middle. Yuan getting the tap down. Did really well. Set his teammate running in Wallace. Getting hands to a long ball again inside the 50. Picking up Edwards. He did well. He couldn't take the mark but he picked it up nicely. The ball in the pocket from Eads, trying to bring it back. Couldn't do so. Out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick, last line of defence to the Roosters. And to take it will be Ben Simpson. Right in the back pocket. 15 plays 1. Bombers leading. 13 gone. Opening quarter. Hope you're enjoying the action from the QEO tonight. Yuan was led under the footy. And he will take the free kick. Gosh, Yuan will kick from outside the 50. Won't make the distance. So this kick, well, really off the side of the boot. It might work out. No, it's a free kick. Crowley gave it away.
Gee, stiff.
It was an interesting kick anyway. And the Roosters looking to clear. Ball into the path of Bosley. Doesn't hit the target. It goes out of bounds. And that's a bad error. We will have it thrown in on 50 for Essendon. It was Lachlan Cassidy who kicked it and then tried to get out of the way because he didn't want the coach, Mark Gregg, to have a spray.
All right, McKernan in the ruck for the Dons. It's hit forward, wrapped up. McKernan like his follow-up work. Free kick against McKernan. It was called a hold.
This is Joe Simons, the 23rd player for North Ballarat tonight.
Simons, he's on half-back. Decides to go a long way back.
Oh,
They handball over the top. Webster. They go out to the outer half-back flank. Trying to find a way through this press and crush that Essendon have been applying. And it's the Bombers again that will repel. Heppel. He's into Simpkin. He kicks forward on his own. They kick to the pocket and he picks out.
It's Wallace who kicked that.
Tommy Wallace picks out. Now North Ballarat on the half-back flank. Luke Keel goes in short and that's intercepted. Beautiful stuff by McKernan. His kick's a little bit short. Chain of handballs comes over the back. And a lot of finger pointing and saying, why weren't you here and why weren't you there? But it's another behind of the Bombers. 2 goals, 4-16. Essendon VFL radio scoreboard, 1 behind to North Ballarat, 15 minutes in.
Yeah, that was the skipper Coughlin who kicked that behind. Simpson to do the kicking in, or he's got to give a take 2. They're not sure what they're doing here, the Roosters. So see, just goes long outside the 50. Heppel making the contest down to Crowley, into the path here of Crowley, and there's a bit of pushing going on. And another free kick going against the Bombers. Masali, the player, kicking it into Crowley. But again, just some pushing out going on. A little untidy from the Bombers in front of goal. Shaq takes the mark. Not sure where to go to. So again, just looking to go long up the line. That's actually not a bad kick outside the 50 as the Roosters look to build. Templeton goes further afield up to centre wing, finds Keeble, who again goes up the line, up towards half forward. And they've been very patient here, the Roosters, this time up the ground. Handball inboard, Schneering, going long, 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 bouncing through for a behind. The second one on the board for North Ballarat. 2 behind, Essendon 2-4-16. 16 gone. Opening quarter here on Essendon VFL Radio as Nathan Grimer in front of us, just having a bit of a breather.
He is Benny McNeice to bring the ball back in for the Dons. He goes in short. And he finds big Sam Michael. Feeds off the handball back to McNeice. It's a bit crowded. They kick to half back and Heppel. Wallace. Tommy Wallace kicks to centre wing. Bombers whip around. Kick to half forward. Beautiful measured kick, Crowley. He looks up. He kicks long to the goal square. Front and square. Eads isn't amongst it. Good tackle. Nah, just breaks the tackle. Kicks forward. It's overcooked. Now we've got a chance through the skipper in Coughlin.
Yep.
And that's straight through the centre. That's the Dons' third. Good work by the skipper. 3-4-22 on the Essendon VFL radio scoreboard. North Ballarat just the 2 behinds. And we're 17.5 minutes into the first quarter here.
When you've got such a tall forward line, it makes a huge difference because Crowley, all he needed to do was just bowl the ball to the top of the square. And again, just the errors coming off that from North Ballarat, from that Essendon forward pressure, the ball eventually spilt out.
It is footy 101, Pete, isn't it, really?
It is.
You kick it up. You're either going to take a mark or come to the front of the pack, and you've got some dangerous players there.
So we're back in the middle. 18 minutes gone in the opening quarter here on Essendon VFL Radio. The ball spilling free. And coming to meet it was Rod for North Ballarat. He kicks further afield. Johnston, just running out of room, decides to go back to Rod, who kicks a little dribble up. And he found Dempsey. It was through his hands. Coughlin again works it to Heppel. Long ball here into the path of that player in Crowley. It's over the other side of the ground on centre wing. And they go with a couple of handballs. Now the kick inside 50, really favouring no one in particular. Nuondo will be the first player to pick it up. He had to pick it up from ground level. Got it across, but was intercepted by Simpson. He's set upon the North Ballarat player, and the umpire will throw it up into attack for the Bombers.
Vice-like tackle by Porky Hams that time.
The ball to ground. Again, no one can get clear. Shaq laying a couple of tackles here for North Ballarat. It's right near the line. They keep it in. And the ball has made its way up to centre wing, but coming out to meet it was Simkin, racking up a couple of touches. That one not great. He's turned the footy over, and now another chance here for the Roosters, but again, they're just untidy. Good pressure again from the Bombers as they work the ball again inside 50, and another mark. Oh, he's ready to play. Ryan Crowley, he's taken another one.
Don't think he's taken the omission well, Pete.
No. You reckon this has stung him into action? Well, John Worsfold is here tonight. We saw him just a little bit earlier.
We've seen the coach.
So he's seeing this firsthand. Crowley, pretty much directly in front. 45 metres out. Kick on the way. Missing to the left-hand side. Gee, they've squandered a few opportunities here. 3-5-23. The Bombers, North Ballarat, 2 behinds. We've played almost 20 minutes in this opening quarter. It'll be Rod to bring the ball back in.
They've persisted in going short here. And the little short passes. Nick Rippon. You're going to get tackled here. Dispossessed. Now Rod, under a heap of pressure, has to switch play. He kicks it across. Bombers tip forward. First into it is young Jakey Long. And he just lets Bosley know as he shrugs him off. Ball to be thrown in right in front of the comm box. Grandstand side of the ground. Boundary umpire hurls it back in. Jamar loved his first quarter. Jackson Merritt can't quite... Hams again with a tackle. Comes out to Lanyon for North Ballarat. It's right in the middle of the ground. Pressure. Umpire looks and says, didn't get an opportunity to get rid of it, and they'll ball it up.
Was Keeble in trouble there? As soon as they pick up the footy, they're instantly tackled. That's a good pressure from the Bombers.
Jamar just threw his man, threw Rowan Marshall out of the way.
He tried to use all the tricks in the bag there just to get around him. So Marshall kicks up towards centre half forward for the Roosters, but it's going to be intercepted. McNeese, who takes the mark and runs. They've got plenty of options as they look up forward here, the Bombers. They kick, looking for Nuon. He left it, did well, just to leave it for Grimley, who might also even be able to get the trip here. He should go back and seriously think about taking the shot.
Might have, is there 50 metres here?
There is.
50 metres to the
Not sure
Dons.
what that was for.
I think we can write this one down. He was the leading goal kicker in the VFL the last couple of years. And I'm just about prepared to write this one down, Pete.
Well, the umpire has gone from the 50 metre. No problems trying to measure that one out. That was from the 50 metre line to the goal line. So he'll walk in, and Sammy Grimley, couple of steps, bang, put it through. Well, he won't kick too many easier than that. What a great start for the Bombers. They're 4-5-29. North Ballarat 2 behinds. We're 22 minutes gone in the opening quarter on Essendon VFL Radio. Broadcasting all across the season through the smartphone app, essendonfc.com.au.
I like the intercept mark and all that, but for the things that don't provide a stat, the way Garsh Nuon just left that ball go, listen to the talk. He was in a position he could have marked it as well and played on, but listen to the chatter. That's good football.
But how was the run, the burst of McNeese, just coming off half back?
Jamar down to Porky Hams. He's in the middle of everything tonight. He's right in the middle of the ground on that cricket pitch, but the only hard part of the surface in all of the oval. Jamar again. North Ballarat work it clear. Bombers have got it. Through Heppel. McNeese wheels around onto the left, takes a bounce, takes a second bounce. Buys himself a little bit of space. Kicks to centre wing. Bombers have got it. They kick further to centre wing. Sean McKernan. There's another free kick, another 50 metres.
Gee, they've given away a couple.
And that won't help them. As they kick deep into the goal square. Goes over the back, bounces just across the face. Another behind. 4 goals, 6:30. They lead it by 28, the Dons. 2 behinds, North Ballarat. 23 and a half minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, behind to Jackson Merritt. As Rod goes short here for North Ballarat to Cassidy. Deep inside defensive 50. He just goes long, a tumbling footy, falls to the back of the pack. Here is McNeese, who's got to get around Lockie George, who just bumps him over the boundary line and will have it thrown in. And push towards half forward for the Bombers. 24 minutes gone, 30 plays 2. Great start for the Essendon VFL side as the ball's thrown back into play. Jamar being harassed by Marshall, managed to get the tap down. All that AFL experience, the high up and under kick. Eads was underneath it, couldn't take the mark. And now they've turned over the footy here. The Roosters, the kick towards the 50 is good again. And Grimley, well, pretty much where he was before the 50-metre penalty. He took that last mark. He goes inside 50, and there's going to be a free kick. Yeah. McKernan caught one over the shoulder in that marking contest, and he will line up and have a shot 40 metres out, only on the slightest of angles.
Can't complain about that one, North Ballarat. Got the front position, jumped up, had the only way you're going to knock him out is impede him.
Almost a little bit of ear massage going on there. The Roosters' defence. There's Ryan Crowley ready to come back onto the ground. Was having a bit of a breather. But in comes McKernan. Steps inside the 50. Kick on the way is good. So another one on the board for the Bombers. McKernan has 2. Bombers have 5. 5-6-36 playing North Ballarat 2 behinds. 25 gone in this opening quarter on Essendon VFL radio.
We spoke earlier about reward for effort for the Dons. It took them a little, maybe 6 or 7 minutes to get their first goal, but they've really peppered them. That's 11 scoring shots to 2. And we've got a true representation of the difference between the two teams in the first quarter.
We should stress that there is no breeze.
Oh.
Not a breath of wind out there, so it's not favouring the end that the Bombers are kicking to.
Bang in the middle. Marshall gets the tap out, but Jamar roves it. They kick forward again. North Ballarat should mark this. This is Bosley.
Been one of their better players in this opening quarter.
Been a bit of traffic down this end, Pete, all the
Yeah,
same.
exactly. When you get enough possessions, you're standing up down here.
They're on half back. This is Austin, the captain. He goes in short. They're not game to kick long, are they? They're going to switch play again.
You can understand why. There's not many options to kick to.
Bosley sends it back from whence it came. They're stuck on the half-back flank just underneath the Essendon VFL radio. Back to Bosley. They're waxing. Now they decide to switch play, and they miss their target. Here come the Dons. This is Simpkin. Straight through the middle, Jonathan Simpkin. The much-decorated Jonathan Simpkin. And that is Essendon 6. They move on to 6-6-42. They lead it by 40. North Ballarat are 2 behinds. And we are just ticking past 26 and a half minutes on the first quarter.
Well, we said it, didn't we? They were going one side of the defensive 50 arc to the other, and eventually it was going to come unstuck. And it was just patient play from the Bombers. They locked down the defence. And just North Ballarat was stuck for options. The contest, and it was Simpkin, the player, with the intercept. And he kicks an excellent goal. We're closing in on quarter time. 42 plays 2 here in Bendigo. Great start for the Bombers. It's the ball back in the middle. Jay made a really good run at that. Got it down to Crowley, who kicks up towards the 50 here for the Bombers. It's getting near the boundary line. Rod the first to meet it for North Ballarat. His kick up the line was dealt with off the footy. He was dealt with by Eads. And a free kick downfield to Johnston. Pushing up to centre wing. Now he'll kick up to centre half forward. Slim pickings down there. And I could tell you, Jamar has been in absolutely everything tonight so far. Takes the mark. Just tells everyone to get out of the way. He's going to kick long. And he's put a bit of hook on that as well. And he's going to turn the footy over. It's either going to be out of bounds on the full or a mark to Rippon. The mark to Rippon stands on centre wing near their interchange gates. He goes for a bit of a run. And now floating ball inside 50. A quick kick there by Hooper, just trailing it into the forward pocket. Now a bit of a foot race. Cassidy leading there for the Roosters. He's taken over the line, and the umpire will throw the ball in deep into attack for North Ballarat as they look to try and get their first goal on the board. Left of your radio dials, the ball's thrown back into play. Jamar uncontested in the ruck. He tapped it down to Lockie George, who was the only player standing there. A holding free kick though. And it will go the way of the Bombers for something that happened in behind the pack. The kick is short. Crowley takes the mark.
Crowley goes to Sean Edwards. Still inside defensive 50. Edwards goes short again. He's got Ashby. He plays on. Kicks laterally. Edwards in the back pocket. He kicks along the line. Misses all comers. Close to the boundary line.
We'll have it thrown in.
It's a little bit hard for
do you
me to see.
Do you want me to finish your sentence, Crooksy? You knew what happened. You heard the whistle.
I've got about 3 posts right in front of me here, Pete.
That's it. And the commentary box here at Bendigo. Ball to be thrown back in as it gets back into Crooksy's eye line, but that doesn't matter. Player held. It's Jake Long held while not in possession. The Bombers at half back. He will take the free kick. Near the point of the square. That's where Joe Simons, the 23rd player for the Roosters, stands. The kick is good. A 25-metre kick to Sean McKernan, and that will be it. What a quarter for the Bombers. They've kicked 6-6-42. North Ballarat 2 behinds. A 40-point margin at quarter time. That quarter going 29 minutes and 37 seconds.